Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Kamloops for the MSEM format. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching the round 1 match between Chumbeque, who is on Red-White Hounds, which is a strong aggressive deck which aims to use the many 2-mana lords that the Hound tribe has to essentially just kind of out-aggro the opponent while also having some cool value/synergy pieces. Meanwhile, on the other end of the table, we have Gateways, who is playing 4-color Redless Villainy. Chumbeque is going to start by running out a Grey Pelt Initiate, which is essentially a champion of the parish for Hounds. So it's basically the ideal turn 1 play. Gateways is going to be cracking their Murky Peat for just a regular swamp. Notably only has one other land in hand, but yeah, can immediately use the swamp to exit and kill the Grey Pelt Initiate before it becomes too big. But yeah, notably only has one other land in hand, so if Gateways continues to stall on lands like they did this draw step, things could go pretty badly. I guess Gateways being a little aggressive with this, immediately cracking the Grim Bastion. Maybe to immediately play it looks like Gateways is gonna immediately run out the Dead Man's Party on curve. I guess on one hand that makes sense because you want to play it ASAP. On the other hand, with Gateways' current grave, it doesn't do anything, and leaving the Grim Bastion tapped both gives you a minuscule chance to draw more lands, and also makes it so that you don't have to lose the 2 life for insta-cracking it, which I think is relevant in the aggro matchup. It needs a 3rd land to either Intrepid and then start generating more value, or Villainy and then pop off with that. It looks like Gateways does have the 3rd land here, but unfortunately it is going to be another Pain land. So Gateways does have Intrepid plus Villainy plus Rapture, which is a great start, so it's going to Intrepid just to start off. But the problem is losing life to these Pain lands could let Chumbeque overrun Gateways before Gateways has time to properly stabilize. For example, on end, this Monument to the Fallen Man will let Chumbeque flash in this Enoch Hunter. And this mainboard Unbreachable Walls is an interesting tech from Chumbeque. But I think the problem is, it is going to lose to Villainy and Vibrant Rapture, both of which are pieces of interaction which cleanly answer Chumbeque's deck, and which don't get hit by Unbreachable Walls. Okay, so it looks like Chumbeque is going to run out the Great Pelt Initiate, swing with the Enoch Hunter for 2. But yeah, this is an awkward situation with only 2 lands, can't even run out the Enoch Lout or the Warlord Shuja. Chumbeque basically has no plays here. And now Gateways has a Whisperwood's Exploration to potentially turn on Dead Man's Party, can run out Villainy or Vibrant Rapture. In fact, could Rapture X equals 2 and be fine? No, okay, he's going to Villainy first. And and now that Gateways has a swamp, all of their Pain lands are offline. That original hand was kind of risky, but Gateways kind of drew a semi-perfect sequence of lands to turn it off, while Chumbeque over here is still struggling on lands. And that is another red card, which I guess Chumbeque can technically flash in with the Monument. But now Intrepid is online, and that's just a good blocker. And yeah, Chumbeque just... Gateways did not have a crazy fast start. Chumbeque's deck just is not doing him any favors, and he didn't exactly keep a great opener. Though it had the reasonable curve of Grey Pelt into Enoch, but past that, Chumbeque has been drawing the opposite of gas, and an exit from Gateways. Gateways can now exit, and then point the Villainy trigger at whatever Chumbeque decides not to sacrifice, essentially. Or, next turn, has Vibrant Rapture available. Also has Intrepid as a blocker. Okay, so in response to the alpha, Gateways is going to exit. And Chumbeque gets cleanly 2 for 1 there. Gateways goes back up to 14 life. This Enoch alpha, which was looking like something that would be able to start putting up a good fight here, is now just a measly 2-2. 2-1. That cannot get over Intrepid. And if Chumbeque doesn't hit a 3rd land, this game is over. Enoch Hunter. And yeah, I don't see any world in which this game is not just over at this point. Because now Gateway doesn't have to worry about their life total, can start swinging in with Intrepid to put a clock on. Um, Whisperwoods plus Villainy means that Gateways can just, like, Whisperwoods point a Villainy trigger at something, recur Exit, and then have another 2-for-1. Like, yeah, this seems pretty over. And yep, Intrepid swinging in for 4. On end, Chumbeque's going to flash into Anoc Hunter, so both the Alpha and the Hunter are 3/3s. Notable because, or sorry, the Alpha is a 3/2. This is notable because it means that Gateways, if Chumbeque gets another Lord, Gateways won't be able to Villainy trigger kill them. And then Warlord Shuja. So, in response to the Shuja coming down, it looks like Gateways is gonna... Oh, Murky Pete? Okay. I was thinking that Gateways would Whisperwood's Exploration and then use the Villainy trigger to kill the Alpha. Oh yeah, so I had to get the Nomad's Township first. Whoops, that is an important factor. So yeah, Whisperwoods, and yep, is going to kill the Anoc Alpha. And now gets to mill and recur something with Whisperwoods, which in this situation I think you just grab Exit, probably. Pitbolt and Descend are both also good though. I think you just leave Descend in Grave so you can recur it, and then rebuy either a Pitbolt or an Exit. Probably the Pitbolt so you can just point and click kill Warlord Shuja. No, okay, he's gonna get back to Exit. I think that's kind of a mistake because then I guess Chumbeque, if you point the Villainy trigger at the Anoc Hunter, Chumbeque, oh yeah, well, actually we'll have to sacrifice the Warlord Shuja anyways, never mind. I don't know why Gateways didn't just Exit on end. That seemed like not a great play from Gateways. I guess the worry was about Monument, but then if the worry was about Monument, why not just grab Pitbolt? Yeah, not casting Exit there and just taking the 2 just felt like not a serious punt, but just like I don't see the logic behind it. Oh, and here comes a Find Happiness and Misery. Gonna clock the Anoc Hunter with the Villainy trigger. Yeah, this Vibrant Raptor isn't even needed. Gateways can just cleanly answer Chumbeque's entire board with just Villainy. Oh, and a second Villainy coming down. Yeah, I don't think Chumbeque has an out at this point, really. And Happiness recurs. Probably both triggers on the Shuja to kill it. Oh, he's going face with both of them. Okay, I guess he's just not worried about the Shuja at this point. Probably because of Exit. But I think Gateway, this feels like a bad idea because Gateways doesn't know what Chumbeque could flash in off of Monument. Obviously, Chumbeque knows that he has nothing to flash in off of Monument, but Gateways doesn't know that. And so I think, and then if Chumbeque flashes in something with Monument in response to an Exit, and Warhound Shuja gets an attack in, could get something good off of the Warhound Shuja trigger. I mean, all of this is unlikely. I think that barring a consummate miracle, like Gateways has this game cleanly in the bag because one Villainy is backbreaking but still beatable if you have interaction, which Chumbeque doesn't. 2 is just a death wish for most decks, especially if you're aggro. So, and it's gonna go in with the Intrepid, swings for 4. Chumbeque is dead to very many lines next turn. Oh, and actually, wait, he's just dead this turn. I forgot. Ha! Exit and can point both face. And yeah, that's game 1. Just clean sweep from Gateways. That beginning was looking kind of shaky because Chumbeque could have had a nice curve out. Gateways was kind of shaky on the mana, but Gateways managed to stabilize, and then Chumbeque just kept drawing the opposite of gas. Okay, looking at sideboarding here, I think Once Shunned and Soulgate probably coming in from Chumbeque. I don't know in what numbers, but both of those are cards that I think Chumbeque would very much want in this. Yeah, Once Shunned and Soulgate are both cards I think Chumbeque very much wants in this matchup. Soulgate to basically turn off Dead Man's Party, Whisperwood's Exploration, the No Rests, just all of that. Just put a damper on that. Once Shunned to kill resolved Villainies and maybe Intrepid / Dead Man parties. But mostly Villainies, yeah. Tranquil Wanderer maybe, but like, no, like, Villainy is so much more of like a tap-out deck, though it does have instant speed cards. And Gateways, I think, none of Gateways' cards are cards that I think Gateways feels bad about just playing on their own turn. Meanwhile, on Gateways' end, I think probably Seal the Tombs coming in, Singularity's Grasp coming in. Other than that, I think the main board is probably good. Just wipes are good against aggro. We've been known. So yeah, Flesh to Rot, Singularity's Grasp. Okay, drawing hands for game 2. It looks like Gateways did bring in the Flesh to Rots, as can be seen here. And Chumbeque did bring in the Once Shuns. Has a reasonable curve. Like, Chumbeque has a good curve here. Yeah, Wayfarer's Shrine, crack it for red. Anok Lout turn 1, Anok Alpha turn 2. And that's a pretty hefty swing turn 2, actually, because Anok Alpha itself has haste. So Anok Lout will swing for... oh man, Anok Lout will actually swing for a whopping 4. Anok Alpha will swing for 2. That's 6 damage turn 2. And Gateways is going to be doing a damper on their own life total with... They have 2 Nebula of Empty Golds as their only other lands. So they'll be doing at least 1 damage to themselves. If not more, if they want good fixing right here. Okay, so he's going to play Monument, immediately tap it to put in Anok Alpha, and swings for a whopping 6 right here. So yeah, that is just shy of a 3-turn clock right here. And in order for Gateways to do anything, Gateways has to turn this into a 2-turn clock. Like, the simple act of playing a Nebula for 1, and then playing Find Happiness in Misery, puts Gateways down to 12. And even if Gateways doesn't play the Find Happiness in Misery, to play a Villainy or an Intrepid, we'll have to Nebula again for 1. So yeah, it's just going to Nebula for black. And Gateways is going to play the Find Happiness in Misery, I guess trying to find the instant out of... Oh, Mills the Vibrant Raptor that was right on top of Gateways' library. That is actually like a really good out, because Gateways would have been able to just play it X equals 1, kill Chumbeque's board, make 2 petals, and then potentially use, if Chumbeque actually played a 3rd Hound, at that point would get 3 petals and then could tap out for a Nebula. Or sorry, not Nebula, a Villainy. So Great Pelt Initiate coming down. Chumbeque swings for 8 here. And Gateways is very much dead next turn unless they get exactly Vibrant Rapture, I think. And that's game. Yeah, that's just game. Gateways doesn't have an answer to this. And that's turn 4 death. Or Gateways is turn 3. So I guess when the Hounds come together, this is an insanely fast aggro clock. And Gateways just kept a greedy hand with little early interaction, and unlike the previous game where Gateways didn't get punished by it, getting exceedingly punished for it now. And interestingly, can Descend on the Helpless to kill the... Actually, yeah, killing the Anok Alpha is powerful, because it means that the Lord is no longer around. And if you're wondering how Gateways was able to do that when Descend only targets the least power, it's because Anok naturally gives Grey Pelt +1/+1, so it is not... And Loud +1/+1, so they are 2/2s. And yeah, Gateways is just dead game 2. Okay, going into game 3, Gateways this time has again, a greedy-ish hand with only 2 lands, but here has 3 pieces of cheap interaction, which should definitely stave off any potential concerns until Gateways can stabilize. Meanwhile, a hard Chumbeque on a Malta 5. This is not looking good for our Houndy hero. This time does have 2 lands. Priest of Persecution, if it does get to land here, is actually devastating for Gateways. But unfortunately, oh, yeah, Chumbeque just is going to instantly bottom that. And bottoms an Anok Caretaker. So I guess probably just turn 1 Wayfarer Shrine Greypelt Initiate, and then the plan is Anok Caretaker, but then Gateways has enough to distinctly 1-for-1 everything that Chumbeque has available, and I think at that point Chumbeque is just out of the game. Because, yeah, Chumbeque gets hella 1-for-1, Intrepid comes down and is a wonderful blocker versus basically everything that Chumbeque has. Yeah, it's not looking good. Okay, gonna pay GB for this Nebula. And then he's gonna crack the Flooded Depths. I feel like Gateways should just play the Descend right now to kill the Anok Lout, and then keep up the Exit next time. Yeah, okay, so it's gonna just Descend the Anok Lout, keeps up an Exit if need be, and then next turn can have Pithwood plus Whisperwoods up. Okay, Chumbeque just going to run out of Greypelt Initiate. I think Gateway's probably just going to exit this on end. Yeah. The 1-for-1 train continues. And a third land will let Gateways just Intrepid here, if they're so inclined. Which honestly would probably not be that bad of a play. Just Intrepid for a land. Next turn you can have both Pithwood and Whisperwoods up, and you also have potential just like game it. Like you have like a clock that you can put on Chumbeque while Chumbeque is stumbling. So yeah, Gateways is just going to run out the Intrepid. Okay, Chumbeque is going to play the top deck Warhound Shuja. But unfortunately, it is not going to be able to survive to attack, I think, if Gateways has anything to say about it. Okay, so he's going to animate Intrepid and just swing in with it. And yet Chumbeque has to know that Gateways has the interaction, because otherwise Gateways would have just kept up Intrepid as a blocker for Warhound. And wow, another, what do you call it, Lord for Chumbeque. So he is getting some good draws. Okay, at start of combat, Gateway's just gonna Pithwold the Warhound Shuja. And then next turn can Memento this Descend on the Helpless, kill Borison Highguard, grab, I don't know, just Warhound Shuja. And like I don't see any universe in which Chumbeque is not just out of this game. Okay, so on end, Gateways is going to Whisperwoods Exploration. Yeah, returning an Exint. Or a Pithwilt, I guess. Yeah, okay, so it's going to regrow a Pithwilt. Okay, so Gateways animates Intrepid, swings in for 4. And then goes to end? I think not mementoing the Descend feels like a big mistake, because that just puts you so up. Okay, Chumbeque going for another Warhound Shuja right here. Okay, Gateways is just going to take 2 from the Borison Highguard. Really wants to save the Pithwold for the second Shuja, I guess. Oh, Gateways isn't going to Pithwold on end. This just... I don't know, that entire thing felt kind of sloppy to me. I don't think it's going to matter, because I think Gateways is going to win anyways, but I feel like that entire last turn cycle could have been played better. And Gateways is going to play the No Rest? I guess to steal a Shuja from Chumbeque? Yeah, okay. But could have achieved the exact same effect with the Descend on the Helpless, and also taken out one piece of Chumbeque's board. Again, I don't think this matters. I don't think that the Chumbeque has any outs. It still feels sloppy. Okay, swings in for 4. Chumbeque is emphatically dead next turn and also cannot cast any spells because Chumbeque's only 2 lands are pain lands. And yeah, that's game. Chumbeque just did not... Like, Chumbeque's out was once shunned. Okay, so he's gonna Pit Will to the Shuja, and in response, Chumbeque is just gonna Pain Land himself to death. But yeah, Chumbeque's only out was a one shunt, but then to cast a one shunt, Chumbeque would have to shock himself. So, yeah, I think definitely some real unfortunate luck for Chumbeque on games 1 and 3, but made up for it with the insane blistering start in game 2. And I think Gateways just had all the answers game 3, so I think that's just kind of how you have to work. Like, you cannot keep clunky hands versus Villainy because they will have the early interaction to kill your stuff, and if you allow them to stabilize, they'll just go over the top of you. So you have to be able to just start churning out threat after threat to the point where they can't one for one you, and by the time they stabilize, with like an Intrepid or like a Villainy on 3, you already can now build up a big enough board presence that like you can just kind of go over the top of whatever they untap with, which I think is difficult for an aggro deck to do. It's much better to have a one stun to just cleanly answer whatever they play on turn 3, but I think it's definitely possible to do that. But Chumbeque's hands were just not amicable to that game 3. But yeah, until next time, this is Caillou